though, by the looks of things, for Cube to try and enter this Kennen. And we get Knight's Ekko. Oh, baby, this is going to be a good one.
I was so happy when I saw that hovered. I was like, this is fantastic. So, super strong matchup for Knight in this mid lane as well. You can play this very aggressive against the Orianna and try and force her out of lane. And once you do hit that first item as the Ekko, you're in a really strong spot, especially if you've got like the likes of that Triforce coming through from the Hecarim. That's a super strong combo with a huge amount of burst damage that can very quickly burst out someone like FoFo. So overall, I mean, look, Top Esports, very strong team fighting composition, multiple different flank opportunities, which is fantastic against space in a lot of situations, like trying to get the Hecarim back out of these team fights, get the likes of this Ekko off of the
2-0 on the board right now, and that second one was an absolute steal. And again, we've got a crowd. We've got Chios. It's so excited to be back with an audience, with real sound coming through.
God, I miss them so much. Because like even when we started back in spring in 2020, we had the Chios, which just made it so much more obvious how much I missed them when they left then come February. But look, either way, this is going to be an absolute beautiful game. I'm so excited to see what Top Esports are going to be capable of doing here. We saw them steal away game number 2. They looked so strong in game number 1, and now Vici need to find their bite back, get themselves to that game number 5, and see if they can eke out Top Esports in this Demacia championship.
Yeah, I mean, let's just take it step by step, shall we? Because they've got a long way to go before they find themselves a reverse sweep. Vici, I don't know if they've got it in them, but I guess we'll have to wait and see. Top Esports, though, this time around with a much more team fight centric composition here. Less about win lane, win game, and more about being able to group up, but also having a good amount of side lane pressure with things like the Ekko.
Yeah, I'm actually going to take it to the opposite side, because I'm looking at Cube. He just saw his runes pop up. He's gone very heavily in towards the lane dominant style. Like, we see the Scorch, you see the Arcane Comet. Like, he wants to be trying to poke out 369, and usually this is where Kennen shines into these melee matchups, being able to just get a little bit of damage, like whittle down his opponent. But if you've got this Gragas who's tossing out barrels a lot, there's going to be quite a bit of damage that he can turn back. So, well, I'm curious to see how this one works out.
Flash forwards here. JackeyLove in trouble at level 1 once again. I feel like I'm saying this every single game. Aix wanders into the lane and grabs an easy first blood.
And this has just been Vici's game plan every single time with the Samira. Take aggressive trades, level 1, level 2, and then you can have Aix come in. Now, Aix just comes down for the quick level 2 gank, which has worked out beautifully for them. Now, though, Top Esports are trying to threaten on towards this blue buff.
Karsa's going to try and go for the smite steal here. This is just going to be about who has a better index finger. Here we go. The smite goes the way of Aix, and now a knock-up as well. In goes Dro to protect his jungle, and Knight over the wall as well. Aix barely gets away, but he can't proc the third hit. Knight finally gets the movement speed, but iBoy is chasing him down, gets his second kill of the game already with the double, and now he's on to Dro as well. He'd be able to ult if it was available yet in the game, and JackeyLove just kicked out of the play completely.
Oh god, it's a disaster for Top Esports. You had the mid lane control for the Orianna, so FoFo was able to roam across at the same time as Knight. JackeyLove is still level 1 and only coming back from base, but Top Esports decide to fight. And this is what Vici has been so good at doing. Punishing oversteps from their opponents. And Top Esports, they didn't just overstep, they leaped into the hands of Vici.
And this is really, really smart, actually, from Top Esports. Let Vici have the lead so that you can win in a miracle team fight in the late game again. I like this. It worked in game number 2. Understandable strategy coming on in. Hey, what a way to start things off, though, for Vici. Aix with a massive advantage for himself. And a Samira that's 2-0-2 at 4 minutes into the game. My God, iBoy's having a whale of a time on this pick.
So this is where we're really going to see what Vici Gaming are made of. How do they try and snowball this lead? Because you've now got a Graves who can very easily go in and invade onto the opposite side of the map. Like, you can go and actually threaten onto Karsa at pretty much every point in time, especially through this bot side now, as you said, with this big Samira. Like, you as Vici should be able to run away with this early game, control every single dragon, and I want to see if Vici are going to be capable of doing that, because this is again where we've seen them punish, but they haven't been proactive. This is the time where they need to be proactive and make sure that they're running away with this lead.
So, phenomenal start here for Vici, and the question is, what can they do to maintain this? Because the first Drake of the game will be spawning in 15 seconds, and realistically, with how far ahead they are in the bottom lane and in the jungle matchup, Top Esports should have absolutely no right to contest this, right?
Yeah, exactly. And look, this is what we were just saying. You should be able to control this bot side, make sure that Karsa is never able to get any sort of farm on his bottom side of the map, and turn this into a bunch of dragons. So you can see, look, iBoy already shoving in on the spot side. It's a level 4 iBoy to a level, well, just hit level 3 Jgl. He was still level 2. Like, there is no reason that you shouldn't be able to have complete control over this bottom lane.
Yeah, and Hung can just walk up so confidently. And let's just remember, like, the best things about Hung from last year, like the strongest parts of his 2020, were very much when he was on things like the Leona, things like the Alistar, that are these hard engaged supports, and even the set himself as well. So seeing him on this Alistar looking so comfortable and so confident is not surprising at all to me. Like, this pick is very much in his wheelhouse, and immediately straight onto JackeyLove as Dro tries to start to iBoy. Hung gonna have to sacrifice himself here. 369 with a TP to stop any follow-up.
I mean, look, yeah, Top Esports do get a kill, but you still lost the dragon. You're losing a massive wave in this top side for 369 as Cube can easily push this in. I don't think that was particularly worth for Top Esports in committing that many resources to this bottom lane.
It did feel a little bit like the teleport was totally unnecessary.
Yeah.
Like, I think they maybe expected Vici to commit a little harder to the fight. Maybe we were expecting Aix to come on over or something along those lines. But really, really committing to the skirmish there, going for the TP. They do win out the skirmish. They do get the 1 kill. It went the way of 369, I believe. It could have been Karsa that grabbed it this time around. But regardless, as you say, losing a huge amount of minions on the top side.
Yeah, and look, I mean, it does mean that the Hextech alternator is completed for 369, which is super nice for lane. It does give you a nice little bit of AP and a good bit of trading power, but it's not actually like that big of a win. Like the Hecarim getting the extra dagger, fantastic, but you're still up against the Noon Quiver that's completed by Aix. Like, this Graves is still massively far ahead. You've got the 369 who's not really going to be able to do too much against Cube right now, and just having that level advantage and buying a bit of breathing space for Cube is actually nearly worth it for Vici.
So, really, really nice start to things for Vici on this one. They're 1,000 gold ahead, but I will say, that's exactly what I said last time around. That's exactly what I said in game number 2. But their mid-game was fantastic. It was just once we got to the late-game team fighting, the Top Esports managed to come into their own. So, what I'm hoping for is that we get more of the same here from Vici in these mid-game skirmishes, because if they can be consistent on that, then maybe that's a win condition that they can maintain throughout this year's LPL.
You could already see the difference here, though, from the last game to this game, because remember how many times we were like, oh, Ike's trying to go for blue buff, oh, he's been pushed out once again. But this time they actually are getting us. You've got FoFo, who's got full prio mids, bot lane has got priority as well, so they are able to 4-man group. Now, Cube, this may not have been the time for the blast cone.
Yeah, he's going to be able to just belly bop his way over. Did have to use the explosive cask there just to make sure Karsa couldn't block his escape, but will get out with his life. So, not the end of the world for that one. And hey, he got the info. Didn't take much damage. He's happy with that.
Yeah, it does use the ultimate, though, so maybe an opportunity for Top Esports to try and make something happen. That's why you can see Karsa starting up onto this Rift Herald. You've just got an ult advantage on their side, and you don't have the bottom lane for Vici in a position to really contest. But once you've got multiple members from Vici coming in, they get spotted out, they decide to back it off.
Hung is going to find the 1v1 with Dro. It's support or combat, baby, but they're both so tanky that nothing's actually going to happen here. Aix found the 1v1 with Karsa. We've got a repeat of last game, but the other way around. Karsa dodges it. Aix picked the wrong direction, and it means Karsa gets out with his life.
Yeah, I mean, but again, it's like Karsa, he's on the back foot. He's taking the damage. Now, he will get his Raptors off the back of this, but Aix can fast clear in towards this bot side scuttle as well. He can start to invade onto the enemy side as well if he wants to. iBoy, that was a little bit closer than you probably wanted it.
Yeah, I don't know if that was necessarily a positive trade, but hey, you know, we take those. He's just pushing him under tower. He's got a Vamp Scepter, he's got his boots, so he'll be able to heal himself back up again. And he even gets himself a cheeky little Scuttle Crab, so he's going to be pretty pleased with how everything's been turning out. And they're looking to go on Karsa here. He's trying to do a Gromp for himself, but he's going to be knocked up, stunned up, and should be taken down here. iBoy has officially got himself a hat-trick.
And Vici are invading out to the bot side jungle while the Rift Herald is being taken by Aix in this top lane. Like, this is what I wanted to see from Vici, putting their foot down. Oh, actually, TP coming in onto Aix, though. No, they're not going to go for it. But this is what I wanted to see. Vici proactively using the advantages they have. Aix getting aggressive onto Karsa, pushing him out. Then having the advantages that Vici's bot lane have to invade into the jungle again. Continuing to get control. Continuing to keep Karsa in check. And now you're in a position where, right, you're going to hit these massive power spikes off of the shield bow that's coming in. Aix as well going for that shield bow too. Like, these are going to be massive completions where they can just power through into the second dragon, third dragon, and then you're in real trouble for top esports.
Yeah, luckily for top esports, there'll be a 50-50 chance that it's a Cloud Soul, so maybe it'll be okay. Could be an Ocean Soul though, which definitely not in that category. Knight going to clear the ward, but Cube is able to deal with the minion wave outside of tower range, so no dive can come on through. Nice little sidestep there from iBoy. And if there's one thing you really can't criticize from iBoy, his mechanics have always been pretty fantastic.
When we look towards these mid-game points, though, there is still opportunities for top to play against Vici here. So we talk about Knight playing on this Ekko. Like, he can very easily go in towards the side lane and just be such a big threat, both against this Gragas and against this Orianna if they want to. Having that TP available as well is going to mean he can join in towards fights. So when I'm looking at top esports, if they can slow down the pace of this game, not give more over towards Vici, there is a chance that when they get towards, you know, the 1.5 items, that they can swap JackeyLove in towards mid and have Knight play aggressive.
Knight with a very quick trigger finger on just ulting out of that one. I think he was just testing the waters there to see if Aix was hanging around. And it was maybe just to test if the bot lane could stay or whether Aix was about to dive them. The answer is that Aix is hanging around on that bottom side, but the wave has been cleared, so top esports all get away with things. I do want to ask you a question here, Dagda, while we've got a moment that I'm not expecting them to fight, but then again, everyone does seem to be grouping up for this Scuttle Crab. I'm just going to hold this thought for a second. You'd expect Vici should be able to just get this. But here we go. Zenith Blade in. We're fighting for the Scuttle Crab. Aix is going to be the first one to go down. Karsa grabbing a kill for himself. And he's going to zoom out the other side of the fight. Knight is low, though. And iBoy is huge. Knockback Jgl is surely going to go down. Escaping for a second, but FoFo finishes the kill. JackeyLove with the curtain call. But now, time to chase them down. TES, just sprint away back to their tower.
I don't know why you're trying to fight for Scuttle's top. Like, you've got this massive jungler, massive AD carry. I mean, look, sure. I mean, look, bring us to a game 4. I'm ready for a little bit more.
Do it for the Vine.
You ain't going to do it. But, look, I love what Vici are doing. This is exactly what they want to. Hung, again, getting control in the enemy jungle. This is so over-aggressive from Zhao. Like, you, sure, can burst out Aix, but that's not the only issue on this team. iBoy is huge. Cube gets the perfect TP spot as well because you've got all these wards that Hung has popped into your own jungle. Like, this was just Vici again, just smacking them with their walls.
Knight having to back away from the mid lane there. We'll be able to grab himself the blue buff and head back towards this mid lane and defend its tower. And I do just want to... So I'm going to go back to what I was going to say before we started randomly fighting for Scuttle Crab. So I want to ask you a little bit about this Gragas pick and how this fits into a composition comparatively to something like the Ornn that we'd usually see in this sort of role with a team. Like, what is it that Gragas brings to the table that other top laners don't?
So certainly into this matchup against the Kennen, you do get a little bit of an easier time because you're able to at least farm with your Q, you can poke relatively well, and you've got a lot of pressure when it comes to just the body slam and setting up for a jungler that you do have to respect it quite a bit as 369. But when you get towards team fights, it's the disengage tools more so, but iBoy.
Nice little sidestep there. Everything's fine. Praise the sun.
So going back to it, Gragas definitely, it's more the disengage tools where you can try and, like, say if Knight's coming in, but you've got the body slam to try and keep him at bay. You've got the cast to try and force Karsa back out after the onslaught of shadows. It's more so about trying to buy space, whereas for an Ornn, you're more about the engage. Like, yes, you can use your ult as a disengage tool, but it's such a long wind up to try and call the ram in to then knock it back. Whereas Gragas is much more that instant, alright, cool, I bought space, everyone, let's move away from this.
iBoy has been stunned up here, and that's a lot of damage coming on through, but he goes on the
Oh
tower.
my
It
God.
doesn't matter. There's nothing you can do because Samira exists. He is under the tower, though. I don't know why he dashed further under the tower there. And hey, Karsa just grabbed himself 700 gold.
Sorry, I don't care that he dashed under the tower. How do you get a double kill tanking the turret after going to about a 50 your HP? Like, that is ridiculous.
Do you want the real answer, Dagda? It's
200
years
Yeah,
of collective game development experience is the answer to that question and a whole heap of lifesteal.
But, I mean, this is just insane. So, you get the stun underneath the tower. I mean, good job from Jgl to hold on towards the zenith blade to make sure it doesn't get stopped. But, like, that is ridiculous. That is so much healing. The double kill coming in. I think the Karsa might have been spotted coming in towards that bot side. So, iBoy was like, look, we'll just commit to it. But, either way, like, that is absolutely nasty.
And the funny thing is that even with this kind of kill record, even with this kind of gold lead, I could still see a universe where at the start of a fight, Karsa just runs this guy down. And speaking of which, that's exactly what we're about to witness. There's nothing you can do. AD carry in 2020, Omega lol.
I love the way you called it. You're just like, you know what? It doesn't matter how fed you are. Against other AD carries, yeah, that's great. But against the jungler who's been set really far behind, you don't have a chance.
There's nothing you can do. It doesn't matter. You can be ahead in gold, in experience, in literally every way. It doesn't matter. You're playing AD carry. Get back in the dirt.
Now, to be fair, to give Karsa's due, like, Aix actually isn't that far ahead. Karsa's been able to farm up his jungle. They weren't able to invade as heavily as I would have liked to see Vici do to just continuously contest things, but Dragon goes over.
Dragon taken by JackeyLove here, and we're going to fight to boot, and suddenly everything's going the way of top esports. Dagda, how does this always happen? Knight's got a double kill now, and they're looking for Cube in the mid lane. Stunned up by the Maelstrom. Does manage to get himself away there, the stun on the end of things. Top esports, they've evened the gold.
So what I will say is when a lot of your gold is on the AD carry, you probably shouldn't fight without the AD carry. So even if they're getting run down,
You might be on something
you still need iBoy there. Because iBoy was only just coming out of base, and Vici, honestly, to be fair, I don't think they expected top esports to be able to get over the wall and engage on them as quickly as they did. But Knight just in a fantastic position here. Pretty much classic Ekko positioning for the likes of this dragon fight. But you can see here, they're just trying to have Aix go in over the wall. But when FoFo and also Hung are trying to commit at the back of this pit to provide the support tools for Aix going in, you're actually only setting yourself up for something like that big engage tool. Especially when you're looking at the likes of the curtain call. Just the slows coming in from that are enough to close that gap.
And, you know, it doesn't matter if junglers are there anyway until they're level 18, because JackeyLove, with one item and a serrated dirk, crits with his fourth shot onto the dragon for 1,000 damage. There is no outsmiting Jhin at this point in the game, apparently. And, you know, you made me chuckle there, because one of the things that you said was, I don't think they expected top esports to blank. And I feel like you can fit that sentence into just about any top esports series.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's pretty fair. I mean, any top esports game, to be honest. I mean, even look at the last one. We're like, look, this is closed. It's a one and done here for Vici. We're going to be taking it nicely into a tied up series, and then 369 just pops off. And this is the thing, is every time top esports just understands, again, we get to these mid-game fights, how does our composition work? Right, we need Knight to get onto these flanks. He's going to be able to try and get these stuns, especially onto the likes of the Orianna and even the Samira to a certain extent as well, who won't have as much mobility, well, particularly more Orianna, but then you're looking towards the likes of like, okay, Karsa can follow up super well into these plays. Like, they've got a lot of these really strong flankers, and especially for someone like FoFo, that just sucks, which is why we're looking at the Alistar and the Gragas even locked in the top lane. Like, these are the champions that are supposed to buy space for these more vulnerable backline champions.
Well, we get a little bit of a reset for ourselves here, Dagda, as iBoy's going to be gifted over the red buff by Aix. And we're getting to the point in the game where Vici, hang on, he's caught here, does have to use the Unbreakable Will, but he's going to be fine, gets out with his life. We are getting to the stage now where the 1-3-1 can start to come through from the side of top esports. Obviously, having that Ekko in the mid lane does mean you have a huge amount of split push pressure. Kennen going to do fine in a side lane as well. So top esports can now start to manipulate the map a little bit. And the fact that this Samira is strong can start to become a little bit irrelevant if top esports just opt out of these team fights entirely and play through the side lanes.
Yeah, and especially with the items that have just been picked up by Nice, he's just back there, he's finished off as a Lich Bane. Like, he can 1v1 as anyone essentially in this game right now. Like, the beauty of going for the Rocket Belt is that it also gives you the auto attack reset. So for an Ekko who wants to quickly pop that Z drive resonance, you can go in aggressively. Even if you mix your Q initially, you can just go with the phase dive, guarantee that second proc of the Q, Rocket Belt in towards that third proc, and no matter what, it is an insane amount of burst damage that can come out. So essentially Knight can, well, you might get to see it here, but
does have his Chrono Break available, but it misses, flashes away from the Shockwave to keep himself alive. In goes Karsa, though. They ain't done just yet. Ike's desperately trying to scramble away from this one. Gets himself out with his life. And it's just a bunch of summoners and ults burned on both sides.
The big thing, though, is that with 50 seconds until this dragon, well, Vici have just forced top esports back. Now no ult on Knight, no ult on Karsa. Vici should be able to get this dragon, put themselves onto Soul Point, and be in a really strong spot coming into this 25-26 minute mark.
I feel like top esports are one of the most fundamentally LPL teams we have.
Yeah.
Because this was not an intelligent fight to take. It's like, this play only works if we win the fight. We're taking the play. We're going to try and make this happen. And now they are at a disadvantage for Dragon, hands down. But you know what? They're going to call that worth, and they're going to probably make the same choice next time around.
Yeah, and look, I mean, they're drawing members over here, so FoFo now able to clear this. So maybe actually with FoFo in this top side, top might actually try and contest once again. Although, as I say, that JackeyLove is backing, because you definitely want the Orianna there to start things off. But I suppose with missing both the Solar Flare and the ultimate from the Hecarim, they're just like, nah, we're not going to try and go for this.
Yeah, not really an option to contest that one, which does mean Vici now on Soul Point with an Ocean Soul as well. That is feeling real good for them. And once again, we are going to see this Graves build coming out with just a huge amount of lifesteal, a huge amount of survivability and tankiness during this fight. Well, it's kind of like pseudo tankiness, right? It's not real tankiness, but he's tanky while he's auto attacking. So, you know, I guess we'll call that tankiness for now. But across the board, we are starting to see some massive breakpoints come through across the items, and iBoy, importantly, almost at that 3-item mark.
Yeah, and we can start to see the game plan here from top esports. 369 is going off into a side lane. I think, honestly, at this stage, maybe even opting in towards a 1-4 might be the better call for top esports, because just having that ability to make sure that you can keep these engages in check. But Knight just trying to buy space here in the enemy jungle, see if they can get this vision control to allow Knight to push aggressively on towards that top lane turret.
So iBoy going to be just pushing this mid wave up as Vici get to take control of the river here. We're 23 minutes into the game, so whether or not Baron can be done just comfortably by either of the teams, I'm not 100% sure. I feel like given the space they could, but here we go. Engage onto 369 here. Has to just lightning rush away from the fight. Jgl being forced away by Cube as well. Knight throws the parallel convergence, but he is not willing to just jump into this one. And I think, all things considered, it's just going to be a neutral trade.
Yeah, they'll all back away. I like the restraint from Cube here and making sure that he holds on to that explosive cast, because especially when everything else is missed, you're in a pretty dangerous spot.
We've got a TP being channeled here. It's going to be 369 coming in on the blast cone. FoFo's trying to get away. Doesn't get feared here, and it means he's actually going to survive. Now Karsa's the one out of position, taken down. Another kill for iBoy. When the enemy's jungle is dead, that's going to be actually okay for them. JackeyLove trying to get onto Cube as well. Draw going to be knocked back, but I mean, realistically, I don't think Cube can finish him off. TP going to be channeled now by FoFo as he comes to help out, and they finally finish this support. Aix is low. Knight is trying to 1v9 right now, trying to make things happen. JackeyLove looking for the Dark Harvest stack, but Cube is going to be able to deny this ult you'd expect. Not going to jump over the wall for it. They are going to be able to block the shots. A couple of health bars low, but Top just can't finish them off.
I mean, it doesn't matter if Top can't finish them off. They've done the damage. Vici could have just turned straight over towards this Baron with the 2 members dead, but they aren't able to go towards it now because of the damage that was dealt by Top. So at least it's a disastrous fight for Top, but they stop it from turning into even more. Now, this is, again, Vici doing a really good job of just getting into the right place at the right time. They're able to stop 369 from following up as quickly as he would have liked onto this play, and Top massively overextend to try and force onto FoFo. You don't have Jgl or JackeyLove already in a position there to follow up, so a 2v5 essentially is what we end up with, and Top are always going to end up losing that.
And that was such a... It's so well played by FoFo. Like, using the shockwave to kind of ruin the initial engage from Karsa, and then able to flash away from the fear as well, means that he gets out with his life. Really nicely done on the Orianna. I have to say I've been consistently impressed by FoFo during the Demacia Championship here. And now, Drake's going to be up in 1 minute 20, which means vision control is the name of the game for both of these teams.
Yeah, and especially you can see that Top Esports are already getting vision control in the enemy jungle. They have Knight pushing in this bottom side of the map, making sure that they can move in and get a nice flank position for Knight, because ideally he wants to move in towards the back of the pit, get on towards, as we said, the likes of FoFo, follow up with Karsa as well. Top Esports want to be coming at these fights from every angle that they can possibly manage, and just have JackeyLove playing super far back with the curtain call, trying to follow up. So from Vici's perspective, they need to get control, but they don't need the dragon. They can just get control over this Baron instead and trade it for that dragon.
Jgl face checks this one. He is damn tanky, so he walks out with his life, and it's actually just going to be Hung using his Unbreakable Will. So it's actually a very positive trade for Top Esports.
Yeah, I mean, they're able to just back it up. But again, like, Vici are in no rush for this dragon. Like, this is do or die for Top, not for Vici. If Vici could just go over towards this Baron and try and trade that for the objective instead, or at least find a 4 versus 5 fight.
Well, they're not going to find the trade threatened here. Ike's going to go onto Jgl, and it's going to be iBoy with an opportunity, but he's stunned up by the Maelstrom and taken into the apparently GA that he has. The fear's going to be dodged, flashed away from, and another 2020 AD carry, ladies and gentlemen, as there's nothing he can do about this one. Goes down. 2 kills now for Top Esports as they look for Aix as well. But Knight maybe has gone too far for this one. Remember, if Aix can steal this, it's still Ocean Soul for Vici. 3 members strong, they push on in, but they've been flanked by Knight's Ekko. This guy's an absolute master of the champion. He's just waiting for his opportunity to get into the lineup of Vici. Curtain call just to bait out the fight. In goes Karsa. The smite fight is on, and it goes away at Vici. Ocean Soul now in the pocket. Can they win the 2v3? Knight desperately trying to chase out Aix as Cube goes in and gets taken down. A double kill for Knight.
And Karsa just gets burst out. He's not able to survive, forced to go for the early smite, and Aix just picks off the dragon right as it goes down. So now Top Esports, up against what was already a very difficult climb, has become nearly impossible with that Ocean Soul going across, giving so much survivability to Vici. But it's, again, Top Esports, like, you're coming into these fights and it looks fun. At least to start off with, like, maybe they can make something happen. Jgl, though, goes in ahead of everyone else. Like, Knight is not really in a position to follow up on that play, especially when you look at where Karsa is right now. Like, he's only passing the front of Red Buff. So you get to pick off one member of Top Esports. iBoy does go down, and I think maybe at that point Top Esports could have turned that play around. Vici very hesitant again to follow up on the rest of the fight. But there's just not enough left in the tank for them, especially as they blow so much to just get to the fight before Vici are able to run away with it.
Yeah, and you can see already Top Esports, they've got a lot of healing reduction. in their inventories. JackeyLove off the back of that has now bought himself the Executioner's Calling. You can see the Morella Nomicon as well for 369, which I think he'd already finished off for himself anyway, but certainly going to be necessary now that there's an Ocean Soul in play. This all just got a lot more difficult for top esports, but still, you can't ever quite count this team out. We learned that in game number 2. Well, I learned that a long time before game number 2, but game number 2 was more proof of the fact. And now Elder is going to be coming up in 4 minutes, Doctor.
Yeah. And the problem for top esports is that their ability to play it through side lane is kind of gone now as well with that Ocean Dragon. Because the big thing that you look towards is Knight playing off against Cube in the spot side. Well, you try to poke him out as Knight. You're trying to play around, like, dodging a lot of the barrels and that. But this Gragas is just going to be able to sustain so easily through that, both with the passive and now the Dragon Soul as well. So your ability as Knight to bully Cube out of this lane is just non-existent. So you're not really in a position now as top esports where you can, as easily as you could have before, played through these side lanes and tried to win it that way.
Yeah, it's going to be much more... I mean, Ocean Soul is always going to make things a lot more difficult. Aix just tanking up Knight quite happily at this point. He's got, I mean, he's already got a boatload of lifesteal with an Ocean Soul on top of it. Aix, every single auto is basically going to fully heal himself. So he's going to be incredible. Unless you can CC him, he's going to be an absolute nightmare to deal with. Vici finally finish off this tier 1 in the top side.
And it's pretty much just kind of this slow, methodical push now from Vici. All right, top lane goes down. Right, well, we have full control of this river just outside of Baron. Back now, replenish the wards, start this slow encroaching movement in towards the top esports jungle, and just take this at least step by step. Because the problem that with Vici have had is trying to rush a couple of steps or not being confident in pushing forward. So now this is where they need to just know that, look, we've got this massive advantage. We can handily move in here as a group and force top esports to play our game.
Oh, 369 is way overextended and he is going to be punished big time. He even used his flash and his ult there, but he still goes down. Nobody even taking damage on the side of Vici. That's a big pick for them and maybe an opportunity to set up for this Baron. They've got 40 seconds on that death timer.
You can see Hung, though, it was trying to play around 369's flash, but Aix going for it here.
Go over the pit and try and look for something here. They're going on Strode. 3-man fear, though, coming out from Karsa. Is the damage available, though? You're fighting 4v5 on this one against an Ocean Soul. I just don't see any way that you win that fight. Aix still survives after everything because of the sheer amount of lifesteal and an Ocean Soul. And now they get to just rinse and repeat. Vici go back into the pit.
Yeah, and this is the problem, is that, like, even though Knight's so fed, he's 6 kills, he's got a Void Staff, he's got everything, they can't do anything. Like, he's just so far ahead.
Teleport's available for 369. Top esports aren't going to give this one up. What? Knight? How does he keep on doing this stuff? Steals the Baron. 369 has TP'd in, but it's kind of too little too late. The fight's already over, and I think... No, he will be able to get the stun as he dashes away. And Karsa's pushing the mid lane? What is happening in this game, Dagda?
How do you steal the Baron, but Karsa might get caught out?
I mean, Karsa, yeah, you're done, mate. I don't know if that was worth the mid lane tower. A minute on Elder Drake. Karsa is apparently also invincible. Nobody is killable in this game, apparently, anymore, as Karsa doesn't do any damage. But hey, he lasted a long time, so thumbs up.
I mean, look, he got a lot of damage out, but as he said, going down faster there was probably preferable, because now you got 40 seconds until the Hecarim's up, 43 seconds until this Elder's up, so you won't have a Hecarim for this fight. The big thing here, though, is, I mean, obviously the Baron getting stolen from Vici is heartbreaking. I don't know how much top esports are really going to be able to do with it, though. Yes, they got the mid lane turret. Maybe Cube can put some pressure on this top side, but honestly, with that pick, Vici looking at Elder can look to clear out this game, but I don't know how Knight even steals this. Oh, there was no smite. Graves had no smite for that.
He smited early because he did have smite at the start of the clip.
Yeah.
So Aix just completely messed that one up. Maybe just considered that there was no opportunity to steal. I'm not sure. Either way, Elder Drake is going to be on the map here. Karsa has respawned, so he's still going to be able to be a part of the play. Knight could be in trouble here. Is going to be able to phase dash over the wall, gets the slow onto Hung, so he's going to be fine. That was a little dicey, but good stuff from Vici to check for the Ekko flank.
Yeah, and look, they know exactly what the game plan is here, and we talked about it already. Like the way top esports want to approach these is try and get in from as many sides as they can, forcing FoFo to make awkward positionings when it comes to the ball usage, getting iBoy into like where the hell am I supposed to position as well. Like this is what you're trying to do here as top esports, but unfortunately for them, they've all been corralled into this nice little choke point, which is perfect for Vici.
Well, this could be the fight that decides everything, Dagden. JackeyLove somehow had a bounty a second ago while he's 0-2-7. Vici are going to be the ones to start things off, as you would expect. Knight just going to try and get some pressure in the mid lane, try and find priority, but I don't think that's happening anytime soon. Karsa wants to find an avenue in to steal this one as Jgl steps on forwards, flashes away from Cube's engage. Root comes out from JackeyLove. I'm going to be quite happy to tank up on the front line, and you can't win this poke quad. They've got an Ocean Soul. It just doesn't work that way. In goes Hung to deny the engage. Jgl kicked back in with the barrel. Shockwave takes down another. And that's an easy fight for Vici. And that should just about secure themselves this Elder Drake. In goes Karsa looking for the steal, but it's not going to happen. Oh, it did happen!
Oh, he stole it!
What? Right, okay.
I mean, look, it's cool, but it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter, but Aix, man, get it together, mate. Like,
yeah.
These are important objectives. It doesn't matter in this game, but it will in the future. Come on, mate.
Yeah, look, both Baron and Elder Dragon being stole is not going to be ideal. But either way, look, you've got JackeyLove and Zhao who've got to try and make the 1v5 now. It hasn't been a 5v5 that they can win. I don't think the 2v5 is going to work out either. So, at this stage, Vici have the wave. They can just close this one out.
Surely they can close this one out. In they go on towards the support. JackeyLove is just going to get absolutely mauled. And there we go. Another double kill. iBoy finally gets a bit of a victory in that game for himself. 12, 3, and 8 on the Samira. And even playing AD carry in 2020 can't stop him at this point. 369 goes up with the ultimate, but the Nexus is going to fall. In fact, they're going to get themselves some bonus kills first. It's 24-12, double the kills for Vici as they finally get a win on the board.
And it's about time. I mean, Vici, they definitely deserve this
Either
game.
way, Vici are actually looking consistently a little bit better than top esports over the last 2 games.
Yeah, and I agree. And I mean, look, this is something that top esports struggled with even in their quarterfinals, was they'd end up falling behind in the early stage and we're relying on their mid-game fights to pull them back into it. Again, we're seeing we hit that mid-game, and that mid-game shot calling, decision-making, team fighting is all there for top esports. It's just that the gold league